Hello and welcome back to VibranSea. Today I wanted to share a little ocean-inspired yoga flow, and like the waves, we'll be working on our fluidity and articulating and undulating through our spine. This will be an intermediate class, so grab a mat and join me on the floor and we'll get started. To begin, let's take a deep breath to center ourselves and do it with me. Let's breathe in and out. And we're going to come through prayer 3 times. And I want you to take this to commit your practice to some gratitude. And I know during this time there's a lot going wrong in the world and in our lives, but I think there's some of us that are privileged to acknowledge that there's something that's going right as well. And for me, that's my family. My family's been incredible during this time about reaching out and checking in with me. And that's what I'm going to commit my practice to, is giving thanks to them and giving thanks to myself. Let's go into a small little back arch, knitting our abs together to protect our lower back, and coming down into a child's pose, sinking our hips back towards our heels, making sure that our shoulders are relaxed and not becoming earrings. Really keep some space between your shoulders, your neck, and your head. We're going to come into some cat-cows. Now you can do regular cat-cows, or like me, you can make them into these big, generous circles. I find that this lets me get into more of my side body and really helps me warm up and lubricate all of my joints. But feel free to really do whatever feels best for you. Think about the ocean waves and how they undulate, and let that inspire your practice today. So next, we are going to move our weight in circular motions over our shoulders and then back more towards our hips. I find that this is really great at getting into my sore hips and warming up my shoulders. So we'll do it twice to each side. We'll switch to the other side now. And really be overly large with these movements. The larger you can get your range of motion, the more warmed up you'll be for more of this practice later, where we get a little bit more in depth. So sink back into another child's pose. And we'll make our way back onto our heels and do one more arching prayer position, knitting those abs together to support our lower back. And coming back through into a child's pose. Starting this practice nice and calm, like the ocean on a morning like this. And we're going to go back into some cat and cow, but really feel free to do whatever kind of undulations or movements come to you. Just make sure that it feels good on your body and that you're moving your entire back and trying to get into those areas that we don't usually on a daily basis. I'm going to roll my cat and cows twice to the right, and then I will repeat that to the left. And really articulate your neck as well. The more you can move in this position, the better. And it does feel a little bit like trying to pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time if you're me, and it's early, but try your best. It's kind of a good somatic exercise. We're going to do it twice more to the right. And then twice more to the left. Wonderful. Now after this, we're going to snake our hips side to side and let the body just follow. This is definitely not in any yogi manual, but it feels really nice. I just try to really explore every movement that I can, because sometimes what works best for you might not be something that's formulaic or already in a textbook. You might have to find it for yourself. So hopefully some of these improvised movements will help you find what's best for you. So we're going to come into a downward facing dog, our first one of this practice. And coming through, we're going to wave out into a plank, and then leading with our tailbone, come back into downward facing dog. We're going to repeat that several times. This is where you want to think like a wave, articulating through each vertebrae, and then again reversing that back into a downward facing dog. You can see every time I'm coming onto the tips of my toes and beginning with the base of my spine to articulate forward and then retrograding it back. And now we'll just press alternatively into our heels. This feels really wonderful. I add some neck movement, which you can omit if it doesn't feel nice for you, but I really enjoy it. And we're going to just wave through our upper torso, so just isolating and undulating our rib cage. We're going to extend our right leg to the sky to come into three-legged dog. I like to do a little scorpion variation there. And now we will send that right leg into our chest for tiger curl, crossing the right leg on top of the left for a variation on downward facing dog. Repeating now with the left leg, bringing it to the sky extended, then curling the left knee into our chest, crossing it over for again that variation on downward facing dog. We will repeat both sides. Really point those toes, square those hips, working again on our flexibility but bringing in some challenge and power with our upper body. And the left leg one more time. After this, we're going to come to a plank, then undulate back to a downward facing dog. So here we are, coming into plank, then using our tailbone to articulate back to downward facing dog. Next, we're going to extend that left leg. We're going to cross it around our body to come to a left side plank with our feet staggered. And we're going to push the hips to the sky 3 times, coming through this little crouchy position. I really don't know what you would call this technically, but I really like this and it reminds me so much of a wave, which is what inspired today. And we're going to grab our left leg and come into a side split. This is called Vasvamitrasana. Really point those toes. And we're going to try that and repeat everything to the other side, bringing our right leg up, crossing it, and coming to a side plank with our feet staggered, pushing those hips to the sky, powering up those arms, being the wave. And on the 4th time, we will grab our right foot and come into that Vasvamitrasana side split, extending both legs, pointing the toes, and having our weight over our shoulder. This is an advanced position, so please don't get discouraged. Now we're going to articulate through just our upper rib cage. Again, we're going to do another variation and bring that left leg to the sky for another 3-legged dog, but this time we're going to take that left knee, cross it towards the right side of our body, bring it around to the left before extending it, coming into a tiger curl, planting the foot, and coming into warrior 1. You can add a little arch like I am and a toe pop just for fun. And then we're going to come into warrior 2. And we're going to arch over our back leg. I'm popping again the left leg. Then coming, planting our hand, and hitting a half moon. You can grab your right foot if you'd like, just to add a little more of a stretch. We're going to come back to downward facing dog, undulating through the top of our rib cage twice. So we're going to do 1 and 2. We're going to extend that right leg to the sky now and bring that knee, cross it over to the left side of our body, stir it around to the right, extend it, coming through tiger curl, planting our right foot this time, coming to warrior 1. You can add that arch again like I am if you like. And then coming to warrior two and arching over our back leg, planting that right hand, looking where we're going to go as we go into half moon. Or you could do standing split if you prefer. But I really love this position. It really increases my flexibility. And we're going to come back to downward facing dog, articulating again. Do you notice a theme? Might be a little theme with this video. I definitely improvised a lot of this. We're going to bring the left hand over to our right ankle, crossing our body, creating a nice twist. And we're, of course, in a slight inversion. And we're going to repeat, bringing our right arm through to our left ankle and doing our twist, keeping those hips square to the back. Next, we're going to extend our left leg, bring it into our body for a tiger curl, plant the left leg, come to warrior one, and again arch, going through this whole series again, coming to warrior two, arching back. And all these flourishes I'm adding, the reason that I'm doing them is because simply they're fun. And I really came into today just thinking I'd do an impromptu ocean-like flow. So I let the ocean really inspire me. The idea of waves curling and flowing and all of those organic movements. So if something seems a little extra, that's probably because it totally is. So if you'd like to emit, you can, or you can add your own flair. But I love the idea of waves crashing and curling, so that's what inspired me today. And we're going to plant that right hand again, coming into our half moon, grabbing the top leg if we like, stretching our split a little bit. This time we're going to just fold over our legs, and we're going to come to a flat back, and then back over into a fold. Really pull yourself towards your legs. And now you can do that again, or if you're like me, you could grab a chair. I had a natural way to stretch with these lava rocks, so I just articulate through my back here as I send my hips to the back of my mat. This feels amazing, creating a little traction in my spine. And I believe I do it one more time. Nope, I come right back down to the mat. And back into downward facing dog. This time we're going to come to an inversion. Please be careful. Keep your back supported by engaging your abs, squeezing your legs together, and stacking your body. And from here, play with whatever organic positions you'd like. Or you could always omit this, come to a child's pose, or repeat any of the phrases that you liked so far. But I really enjoy playing with this motion, and it's a really good test of my balance, especially on the sand. So from here, we'll extend into a split if you like. I play around with twisting my hips. Playing around on different axes allows me to create new positions and really test my balance and bring creativity to the practice. I think often we can get stuck only playing in the vertical plane, but there's so much more to explore. And similarly, that's how I feel with yoga in general. While I have much respect and love for the people who created it, yoga is always evolving, so feel free to bring your own elements and play into your practice. Often I will say the old names or Western names for positions, but sometimes I'll omit them because I might be creating my own pose. And I think that that is part of the fun of creating your own practice, not being afraid to make it uniquely yours. And from here, we're going to push up into camel. Push those hips to the sky, open your chest, your collarbones, and we'll sit those hips back onto our heels and contract. If you're a dancer, think of it kind of like a Graham contraction. Roll your wrists if you like. We've done a lot on our arms and hands today. And twice more we'll go up into camel, extending our neck, breathing so that we don't hold tension, and contracting again. And if you can't In camel, reach the floor. You can always put your hands on your heels, on the back of your legs. I think I flicked a fly there. On the back of your legs, or just omit the pose altogether. And from here, we're going to go into our final pose, which is extended puppy position. So for this, it's like a child's pose, but instead, you will stack your hips on top of your knees and melt your chest to the floor. If you like, you can bring your hands to prayer again. I think it's a nice way to bring this whole practice full circle. End with gratitude again, drawing on what made you come to your mat in the first place. I know in these uncertain times, there's so many things we can't control, but our practice is something that we can. So let it be healing to you in this time. I know that I have a lot of thoughts racing in my head right now, and this is one way to calm them, to recenter myself, and to find gratitude for those things in my life that are so great. I also want to be grateful for you guys. Thank you so much for coming and practicing today, for watching this video, and I hope to see you again soon.